Hello, it's Jenny from Ginger Ninja Crafts. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I am here because it is the 5th of the month. Well, it's not, but when you're watching it, it is. And so that means it's time for the next Fancy Fold Card Challenge. So, this is a collaboration that's hosted by Monica Wakluska, aka Paper Mona. And we have a merry little band of crafters, and each month we share a different fancy fold. So in the description box below you will find all the ladies involved, and you will also find the Facebook group. So we're one less this month because lovely Emma has stepped back from crafting, but you'll find everybody else linked below. And this month we are doing an upright, I have to remind myself, you know what my brain's like, an upright Z fold card, which is like this. Here's one I made earlier in true Blue Peter fashion. So you might have seen these dies the other day. I made an easel card using these for the One Sketch Challenge, and so I still had some die cuts, so I just went with the same theme. So it is a really fun style, and I spotted this, well, I think Sabine spotted it. It was on Iced Images channel, which I will link below as well. She makes loads and loads of fancy fold cards. She is the queen of it, I would say. So this is the one I made just for a little practice because it was new to me. And I'm trying to be a wee bit more adventurous and try and set myself the challenge of making things that are different than just the tutorial. So what I'm hoping to do is a bee themed one. And because it's bees, I thought I could do a hexagon. Is that right? 6, yes, hexagon. So there is a little kind of formula basically on the Iced Image YouTube channel, which says you could do any size and shape. All you have to do is cut one piece the size that you want your card to be, and one piece that is half an inch bigger. So I've already had a bit of a play with this, but I'm going to lower you down and show you how I extended my die cut by a little bit in case you don't know. It's dead easy, but if you've never done it, then you might not be able to figure it out. So I'm going to show you that, so keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I did. So I'm using craft card for my card base because it's nice and sturdy. So the first one I just ran it through my die cutting machine as per normal. For the second one that I wanted to extend, I stuck it down with a little lip at the bit at the front here. And when I lined it up, let me show you, let me get all that out the road. When I lined it up before it went into my die cutting machine, I know this is the wrong way round, you're meant to do it the other way round, but I stuck it there and I lined it up with my cutting plate just before the top of the die cut, because what I wanted to do is cut all of this bit but not cut that line. I wanted to be able to extend that up there. Okay, so I'm going to take this and just run it through the machine. Okay, so there we go. Let's come out like that. Take this off. Take that there, get rid of that. Okay, now I've got a wee pencil, so I'm just going to draw a little line there just in case I need that. Oh, excellent. So you can see it's cut without the top line. So then what I want to do is kind of let me line that up again. let me just cut this out the way so it's, because I'm being all awkward about it because I've got the camera filming. So I'm going to link it up with the die. I should have done this before I took it out, and then I'm just going to cut up here. Okay, so I'm going to cut down like that, and then I've got a little tabby bit sticking up. So what I did here is I just folded across that tab, and I also scored at the halfway point, and this is going to be, see on this card, that is that piece. Okay, so I'm going to put this the right way up. I'm going to use wet glue, but you could use tape if you wanted. I just find wet glue lasts longer. Even when I use red liner tape, sometimes it kind of pops off, and that is annoying. So I'm going to line these up here. So that is all lined up. And then I'm going to fold that down and just let that glue. So then I've got my card base. Now, as you can see, that bit doesn't sit upright. So when we get to that point, we need to add a little tuck spot up there, and then it sits up nicely. So I have had a dig around. This is my like scrap bit, and it says orange. It's kind of oranges and yellows, and I know that I have some honeycomby kind of patterns in there. All of these are what else have I got in the yellow section? Is this yellow? Oh, a bit more, a bit more. Oh, I've got some nice yellow polka dots, although not huge. I've got more of this one. Let me see. I think I might do a black mat. Where have I put my layers? Hang on, let me get what I need. Okay, so I've done a bit of die cutting and I've got a lot of hexagons. So I've just cut that out of there because you won't notice it. So I'm going to stick this one on the back. When I was thinking of doing this, I just thought I was going to have a hexagon as the panel on the front of the card. And then I've got a bit carried away, and it is like hexagons everywhere. So, but that's okay. I can live with that. I can live with that. So I'm going to stick this one down here. Oh, it's a wee bit slidey at first. Okay, so that's going to be on that bit. Now this one I'm going to do a little bit more blingy. So what I need to do is just cut, and I am going to draw on the back. And then just cut along that line. And then does that stick? Yes. And then this one, I need to do the same. So just drawing across that halfway point. So yeah, that'll look okay, I think. So I'm gonna this onto here. So I hope that you will check out the other crafters in this challenge, because they would never see what each other's doing, but it always ends up that the end products look really different. So there we go. So then I need a panel for the front, and I have cut these. So it's all kind of similar shades and tones, but not identical, because that would be a bit boring, wouldn't it? And I have already done a bit of die cutting and paper piecing for the front of my card, so I will show you that in a second. So I'm going to line it up and stick it on there, and that gives me space up here to put a little sort of tuck spot. So I'm gonna go slightly lower than halfway, because then it gives me the space to have that. So let me take this out of the way. So I'm going to pause, and I'm going to show you the little video clip of me making my bee. Okay, so I'm going to make the bee up first. So I'm using this die set that, of course, I've taken out of the packaging. It came also with honeycomb. It was by Elizabeth Craft Designs, and I think the designer is Annette Green. She makes beautiful beautiful kits, as does Elizabeth Craft Designs overall. So I've done the die cutting first. So I've got a black outline of the bee, which everything else is going to get kind of built up on top of, but it means that you will get the legs and the antenna sticking out. And then I've got this little black body, so I need to put some stripes on. So let me get rid of that blob of glue. So I'm gonna I've cut the body out of black and the stripes out of yellow. And I'm just gonna paper piece this up. The body at the top has a little kind of patterned bit, so I've cut it out of the same yellow and a sort of orangey colour, and I thought I might try and paper piece that up too. So that's the body, but this bit here, you see it's got this. What I thought I might do was pop it on in the orange and paper piece in all these little yellow details. So I'm gonna just put a bit of glue over the whole thing. Then now, this is very high tech, but I've got a blob of blue tack and my pokey tool, and that is, I've tried all sorts of kind of pick up tools, and I didn't like any of them, so this is what I've ended up with. I've tried the ones that are kind of like a pencil. What I maybe should try is the ones you get for diamond art, I think. I wonder if my mother's got any spare ones. She does a bit of diamond art. Put that in there. And then I'm considering leaving the other ones black, like so. I think that's quite cute. Right, let me put this out of the way. Now I've cut the wings out of various colours. I've got this, which is a sort of slightly shimmery Centura Peril. I've cut it out of a very pale grey, and I've cut it out of a very pale yellow. I don't think I like the yellow. I think what I want to do is maybe layer up one with the grey on top and one with the what have I done with those other little wings? Oh, here's one. I've got a pile of honeycomb bits too. There we go. So it's sort of the same but different, you know. Or should I just do both with the grey behind and the pale on top? Maybe I should. So yeah, let's just layer this up. Oh my goodness, I've definitely got some sort of dropsy condition today. Apologies if you can hear my washing machine. It's directly below the room I'm in just now, and it does sound like it's taken off for outer space. Oops. I think this is going to look nice. Put that on there. Just stick this on and then I'll check the position of it. Do I... Oh, now I've got glue on my fingers. It's fabulous. Do I want to stick those down and then put the body on the top? Yeah, I think I do. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue there. So that'll stick on there. body on. Now it does come with little eyes, but I don't really like the eyes. Shh, don't tell them. So I'm just going to leave it like so. Apart from when it's finished, I might put some little UVOs on or something. So that is the bee. Okay, so this is the bee. Now, before I do the decorating, I think I'm going to pop the tuck spot up at the top, just so that I make sure whatever I put on here doesn't get hidden by that. So I've cut the same again, and I think I will pop that on. So the thing to remember is you want to only stick like the top half of your tuck spot. Again, using the hexagon is quite handy because it's easy to see what the half is. So I'm going to stick it kind of there. Does that look? I think so. And oh, I nearly swore there. Okay, so I'm going to hold that in place and take that out just while I do the decorating. So I've cut some of these honeycomb pieces. I've done it in white in case I wanted that. I've done it in grey and I've done it in gold. Maybe. And I suppose I don't need to use the whole thing. The other thing I want to show you that I've used is a little die set which I got in a craft magazine years ago, and it is the cutest thing. And what I want to do, I want to put on this little honey pot on the top there, if that will. Do you think it'll show up? Or I've got a tiny bit of this. Maybe that's what I just put on there. And I can use the honey pot somewhere else. The honey pot is so cute. Yeah, maybe I'm going to stick that on there. So, I can't remember what the magazine was called. They don't make it anymore. It was one of the ones that had kind of a mix of, it wasn't just all paper craft. I think it had a bit of other kind of crafting in it as well. That's quite cute, isn't it? Okay, so do I need the honeycomb or just the bee itself? Just, or I think it needs a wee bit of honeycomb. Just kind of thinking I could paper piece with a bit of the grey. Okay, maybe I will trim it a bit. The other thing I've got from this is this just bee sentiment, which I thought was quite cute. not quite the right. Maybe it should be a black, but right, maybe I am gonna chop this down and split it in two. That could sit there. This bit could be up there, and the bee could be in the middle. Yes, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to pop the bee up a little bit because I think this is going to be bee. Can I say bee any more times? I think this will be a wee bit chunky for a normal stamp in the UK anyway. And I think it might be too big actually, so if I stick the bee up on its sticky pads, then I can, that gives you a wee bit of leeway for tucking the oh, excuse me, my stomach is rumbling, it's lunchtime. It will give me a wee bit of leeway to tuck this little other bit underneath. That is the plan anyway. So have you ever made one of these upright Z fold cards? I had never even heard of them, but they're I think they look really effective. I can't wait to see what everybody else has done for the different. If you were to use a square card, you could just, you don't need to cut the front and the back separately and all that shenanigans. You can just score halfway down the front of your card. But I kind of wanted to do something a wee bit different. So let's pop it there so that I can tuck that in there and it's, you don't see the bits that are missing. Like so. And then could I have just bee here? I'm not going to bother with that. Let me stick this up on some. I had this one pre-made because I think I made some little embellishment ones to send to somebody years ago. I think it was Rare Roo. Remember Rare Roo Crafts? She was so lovely. Oh, that squeaky chair. Maybe I'll stick that one there. I'm going to cut this Just Be out of black. Hang on a moment, I will put you on pause. Okay, so I've cut it out of black Century Apparel, and then I've just done a wee drop shadow with the gold that I already had cut out. So let's see if it works. That tuck spot should be nice and secure in its spot now. Hey. So there we go. So you can tuck it in there, and then you can open it out like this. And I should say, what I haven't done is I'm going to cut a white panel to go in there. So where's my other one? Here, I'll show you on the one that I made before, the rectangle one. I just stuck a little panel there so you can write your message to the person there. So that is my two different shape, but two upright Z fold cards. Is that what they're called? Upright Z fold cards, yes. And I will pop the dimensions for this card, because I just cut it. I didn't use a die cut for the base. I'll put all those measurements in the description box below. And this one, I guess you could do with any kind of shaped die cut. I did fancy doing a round one, but I thought it would roll about all over the place without the flat bottom. So, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Please say hello in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I will be back very soon with another video. Thanks for watching. Bye now.